In progress.
It's a better seating thing. Stairs. Much better.
Those are good chairs. Yeah. You can grab those chairs. I just grabbed the other ones.
Okay, call the meeting to order. And pledge of allegiance.
Liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes from our prior meeting?
I move to approve the meeting minutes from June 1st.
Second it.
And a vote? 5-0. Okay, the first few items are going to be just updates. Just to let everybody know, Abigail Anderson is now our clerk. Heather has retired. So again, thanks to Heather for her years of service and welcome to Abigail. Also want to let everybody know that if you haven't met him already, we have a new transfer station manager. His name is Eric Anderson. Reports are that he's very personable and gets the job done. We are still searching for another transfer station attendant. Did Alicia show up?
Yeah.
No? Okay. Okay, great. So in our prior meeting, we talked about Jake Demore, and he found another full-time job. So he is not going to be our transfer station attendant, but we did get another person, and I don't remember her last name, but her first name is Alicia. So she is now at the transfer station. As most of you know, the office coordinator position has been posted for a second time, and that posting period ended on Friday at 5. So we will begin application reviews this week. And good news, the Blake Hill Bridge was completed and is open as of Friday, June 12th in the evening. There are a small list of punch items to take care of yet, but by and large, they are, they are complete, or they are minor in terms of what is still remaining. I'm sorry, Kathy, you.
Sorry, it's okay. I just have a quick question. With the new town clerk, are the town office hours going to be the same?
For the near term, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Until we get the office coordinator position filled and we have backup, I think that we'll just leave everything as is. You're welcome.
On the bridge, can we get the weight rating paperwork to the fire department so that they can start driving the apparatus across?
Sure.
We've done preliminary math internally, and we're pretty sure we can get everything across. I mean, we know we can get everything across, but we need weight ratings from DOT to actually drive apparatus over it.
And is that DOT signs that say the bridge is still closed and
Yeah.
on both ends? And okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk to the state engineer, he will be. What?
It's on. Doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, I called the state engineer on Friday. He's getting copies of the bridge design from Nate, the engineer that we worked with, and I'm sure they'll be coming out and putting the actual posting.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well. Thank you. So in the time between this meeting and our prior meeting, we did finally receive a final copy of the audit. And so that was a good news piece of information in that that will allow us now to close out our use of Sage software, and all transactions in 2024-25 were put into Trio, but we needed to take all the carry forward balances from Sage to Trio, and that's now what we're working on. We are also going to work on implementing the budget that was passed at the annual town meeting for the next fiscal year, moving that into Trio. And we're likely to engage in a search for an audit firm, in any way. In any case, we are going to put out an RFP for an audit firm so that we have a competitive scenario for determining who the next auditor will be if it's not RFS. Or, I'm sorry, R.H.R. Smith. Yes.
Karen Mears, 1065 Pond Road. By putting the information from the audit into Trio, you're confirming that all the information in the audit is correct now.
I don't have Dorcas here to confirm that, but I believe it's largely correct. I think we identified a couple of issues with it, but there were several iterations of the audit that we went through, and I think that there are a couple issues that were identified after we got the final audit yet.
So those will get corrected before they
Yes.
go into Trio. Cool.
We talked to Dorcas today. She said they would.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sure.
Sure.
This is a sincere question. That's not just, do you suspect motivations? Do you suspect that anyone in the town is trying to change the monies or hide the monies? You have a lot of questions and they're good, and you're doing a good job as a citizen. But I'm just curious to know what you think the motivations might be, because one version, the one I get, is that we're just trying to play catch up and we're just trying to figure this all out. You know what I mean? We're in this transition between treasurers and trying to figure it out. We're trying to catch up, and Dorcas is doing the best I can. And my colleagues and I are not trying to hide anything. Is that where you're coming from? Or are you coming from a different place?
I can't speak to anybody else's motivations. I've gone through all the audits pretty thoroughly for the last couple of years, and I see trends. So I have questions, and I think that will help you guys look deeper into what's there. Like I said, I can't speak to anybody else's motivations, but I think having transparency and honesty and laying stuff out without having to ask for things multiple times would be awesome. Does that help?
That's helpful. Yeah, I like particularly the thing about the trends, things that over time we've just not been caught up on.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
And the audits they're clear, but they're not clear. Like that's not everybody's forte to look at an audit. I understand that, but there are definitely trends
Okay,
and things to look at.
thank you.
Okay, next up is that we have had another transfer station meeting with Reedfield. The net of that is that we're going to meet again. The estimate that they gave us previously, they felt that they stand by, so that it would be approximately $100,000 savings to the town if we use their transfer station. Now, I will admit right now that the feedback we're getting is not positive on going forward with Reedfield as a transfer station agent, but I think it still makes sense to play this out and understand better what the differences will be between the two set of operations. But that's pretty much where we are right now. Bob, do you have anything else to add to that?
Yeah, one thing that came up, Reedfield is looking at, we're going with, waste management right now. Our trash goes to,
Norwich Walk?
yeah, Norwich Walk landfill. What they're looking for now is, switching to, Eco Main. That would be trash to burn. And that means they would generate electricity rather than putting it into a landfill. It would be burnt. There's still ash residue, but that's much less volume. So that's something that we probably should piggyback looking at that too.
Yeah, I think there's one of the things that this conversation is giving us is a good insight into how other communities are handling their trash and their waste. And perhaps we can learn a thing or two to apply to our transfer station if we don't do anything with Reedfield in terms of actually taking over our trash, not collection, but a place to bring our trash. Are there any questions on that? Okay, Bob, with what is the update on the beech tree cutting timeline? Do we have a sense of when that's going to happen at this point?
No, we've gone with Pool and Tree, signed the contract today. So we'll have to wait for them to put it into their schedule. And then we'll have to schedule it and see what's happening on the beach and work it into similar to what you're working in with the ramp. So yeah, we'll have to coordinate.
Okay, while we're,
Wait a minute.
sorry.
We'll have to coordinate somewhat to
Okay.
see what happens. May have to wait till fall. I don't know.
I was
Wait
just,
a minute. I think she has a question about the trees, maybe.
Yep. So if you picked pool and then bids went out, I'm sorry, Karen Maris, 1065 Pond Road. Bids went out on cutting the trees.
Cutting the three weeping willows or willow trees.
Did bids go out for that? You said you
Yeah.
picked pool and
Yeah, we went with three. Poolin climbing tree out of Fayette, and the third one, I can't remember the name, but they didn't send a bid in.
And I guess my back question on that is to the ramp actually. So the ramp went out on RFP on the website. Are there other, and there's a tab on the website that says, here's our RFPs, but I don't think that I ever saw one for the trees. Is there a policy for that, or why do we not see all the bids publicly?
I don't know if we're allowed to show the bids.
Maybe not the winning one, and I understand, but I haven't seen a policy for that, but I haven't seen an actual RFP put out for it like we did for
I
the,
think the policy is formal RFP. You need to get 3 bids under 25,000. Over 25,000, you need a formalized RFP.
I know
That's-
you guys talked about it, but it was at 1,000. Did we?
No,
Did-
anything over 1,000 needs you need to go solicit 3 bids. But that you don't need to publish an RFP. If it's over 25,000, it needs a published RFP.
But we published the fire extinguisher one. Was that over 25,000?
That was because we were searching for vendors for that one.
But don't we search for vendors for the,
Right, but we don't have to do a formal RFP under 25,000. We can choose to, we don't have to,
okay.
per the policy.
It's just not consistent, I guess is what I'm saying. And
The
did,
third one was Pro Tree Service.
oh, tree. I guess I'm looking for some consistency. I know you're working on the policies coming up. This could be one of those things.
It will be.
That would be great. And did you have to check with the state because they're large trees near the water to cut them?
Yes, we talked with the state arborist, and she basically said that those are dead trees and should be removed.
I didn't think they were dead, but I'm not an arborist, but that was my question. Thank you.
Okay, so while we're on the beach or near it, Dan, would you talk about the ADA project?
Yep.
I
Well,
know there's enough.
thankfully, we're moving forward. Thank you to the town for that. So I had a call from the site prep contractor, Eddie Mentor, today, who basically said, I can get going immediately. I can start in 2 days. We just have to move the generator and the propane tank, and I can get going. Which sounded great. The snag, though, is once he's done, the ramp people have to do measurements and order the materials. So all told, this could take up to 6 to 8 weeks. So I called Sherry Wenzel, immediately after this, and I said, can we move on that this week? And she said, no. There are too many projects, too many events being held here this summer. Can we push it till September? So I pushed it. I called Eddie back, and it looks like we can push it till September. But I just want you to be aware that I think what we need to do is, as we move this to the fall, we either need to get a guarantee from both of them that they can finish it by the election, or we'll have to set it aside. In other words, we can't have them start this in October and not have a ramp in September.
Could we, could we push back to the middle of August?
Well, it's Eddie's schedule. The ramp people are flexible. Eddie's schedule is tight, but he did say he's looking for a window in very, very early fall or late summer. He's got a big July project.
So I guess what I would go to the ramp company and ask if they can pre-measure,
Yeah,
get everything ordered now.
yeah.
So
That's a
that to cut that lead time down.
I tell you what I can do, Tyler. That's a great question. Initially he said no. He said, I want the site prep done because I'm going to measure it exact after the site prep. But I get your point. I'm going to say, is there any way we can work this out? Is there any way you could meet with us again here and see if you can't get this ordered? Because the construction of the ramp is only about a week. It's the ordering of the materials that's the problem.
Yeah.
So I tell you what, I will give that a try and report back.
I mean, if we have to close the building for a period of time, we have to close the building for a period of time.
Apparently there are 4 or 5 big community center events in the next month or two.
I mean, I think
Because the first thing he's going to do is rip off that ramp.
right. I don't disagree. So what I would also turn around and ask community center is to put a pause on the usage of the space after the middle of August. Any events that are already booked are fine to go. But we need to pump the brakes on both ends and get the usage of the building wound down, and then yeah, we'll close it. If not the middle of August, first week of September.
Okay.
I mean, we need to have it done for elections. Yeah, it needs to be done for elections.
All right. I'll see if I gather more info. This happened this afternoon. So.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions on the ADA ramp? Okay, next up is the idea of reaching out to the state. Everybody has about speed bumps. So everybody has now experienced the speed bumps in front of Camp Laurel, or coming into and leaving Camp Laurel. And the suggestion was made that the town look into adopting something like that coming into Mount Vernon for the summer months. And so with that, I think it makes sense to at least find out what it might take to get those kind of speed bumps brought into the town, and how we would manage that whole process if it were doable.
Where do you want to put them?
Well, we'd probably need to have 3 or 4 sets of them.
I mean, you need to have them Ideally, probably up by the church, Mount Vernon Baptist Church, at the top of the hill. If you don't put them on CV Corner, right after CV Corner. And then the North Road and Belgrade Road. At a minimum.
Well, CV Corner has a stop sign.
Right, but you're still gonna try to slow people down through the village.
True. I think we'll just need to see what the costs are and decide then which are the most,
I mean, I know the worst ones coming down North Road.
that one's a bad one.
Belgrade.
Coming up, north on, 41 is pretty bad too. Anyway, it's just to let everybody know that we're gonna reach out and find out what it takes to do that. Just bringing up a point of reference that factoring is going to go into play on our valuations for our next tax billing period. So you will expect to see the value of your homes go up substantially. That usually means, or that means the millage rate will come down substantially as well, because the tax itself is tied to what we just passed at the town budget. So there will be an increase, but it won't reflect anything close to what the valuation rate will be. Any questions on that, Kathy?
Kathy Jacobs, North Road. Just wondering what this 91% factoring increase on average, what does that mean?
Well, I don't know that I can completely describe it, but my understanding is that there will be some locations that are going to go down will be less than 91%. On average, the properties will be somewhere around 91%. We need to be at 91%. Those properties that are, as I talked to Roger about this, those properties that are on lakes are probably going to have a higher valuation than those properties that are not on lakes.
So I still don't understand what it means. Does that mean that if you have property on a lake, your property could increase by 91%? Is that what that?
No, if your property is on a lake, it is possible that it could appreciate or go up by 120%.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Again, I don't know the magic way that this is done. And I don't know that it can be easily described to the community.
Right now, we're coming in at about 70%.
We're down at 48.
We're down at 48?
Yes.
No. Right.
Right.
Right. The state is very high value, and
Right.
we're way lower than the state value. The factoring is going to be bringing us up to 91%
of the state's valuation.
Right, because the state uses it, the state takes the 3-year rolling averages. So with home values inflated through sales, the state takes that data to generate their value, what they think things should be valued at. And we're in a conundrum because for the last 20 years, we haven't had this problem. The state home sales have mostly matched the valuations, and then 2021, 2022, 2023. And it's just gotten worse since.
Karen Maris, 1065 Pond Road. I know from passing the budget on Saturday that was a 4% increase overall, correct?
Correct.
But then what you just said on the values going up, and you said the milk rate coming down, was it an additional raise in taxes over that?
No.
So it'll
No.
equal down to the 4%.
The rate,
I
your
would say
net
down.
tax bill should be 4% over what it was last year. The actual, basically your property value is going to go up, but that would, if we left the mill rate the same, we'd have way too much tax revenue.
Yep.
So the mill rate will come down to balance that out. So your
That's all.
tax bill should only be about 4% more than it was.
Why a should if we just passed?
Because we
it?
never factored in the 25,000 for the at the committee, the task force that was put in after. Right, but there's that. That was the big one, and then there'll be an adjustment around homestead because homestead increase should go up.
Right,
Yeah.
homestead.
But we get the homestead money, exemption money back.
Yeah, but it's factor it.
But-
We don't factor it in the budget process. We factor it during the commitment process. So that number will be up in play.
Okay. I think you guys talking about that and explaining it like you just did, I think that's helpful to
Yeah.
everybody in town. I don't know if it's 100% yet, but it was
Yeah.
helpful.
We're trying to make sure we're, transparent about the fact that this is going to happen. We had a previous discussion about this, so hopefully everybody, and there's some written material on the website about factoring.
I know there's some on there and it was why we needed to do it and I understood that, but like Kathy just had a question and I had a question. And I think what you just did to explain it a little bit more was helpful. That's all I'm
Okay,
saying.
Yep.
great. Thank you.
When we're ready when Roger has it finalized, can we get him here to present what
Yeah,
it looks like, or give us the information and we'll put our
Yeah.
own presentation together?
Usually he attends the meeting and tells us what the commitment is. How that worked. Okay, next up, we're planning to put a culvert in on the Bean Road. And Bob, can you talk a little bit about this one, given that this is something you have been working on for quite a while?
Yep. Okay. Last week, we had a meeting with the MEMA representative, which is the state representatives for FEMA. FEMA gave the okay for MEMA to award the $350,000 grant for the Bean Road, the culvert on Locks Corner of the Bean Road. So we should be getting a confirmation letter within the next week or two, I think they said. At that point, we will be able to go out with an RFP for the work. We also have a grant with DOT for $200,000 for that project. So we've got about $500,000 to work with for that corner.
Do we have an RFP yet for grinding and rebuilding Sadie Dunn?
Not yet.
Can we get that for next meeting? So that project can go out?
You know who to ask.
Sure.
I was noticed this morning,
can-
I'm sorry,
wait.
Emily
Well,
Villarreal, and I'm on 238 Sadie Dunn, right on the end.
Okay.
And I was notified this morning that our house is our fence is too close to the road for the ditches that they're digging. And that they will either take care of it for us and dig them out, or we can do it. We have shrubs in front. Because they can go 33 feet from the center line. And I understand that the work needs to be done. Our fence sits 21 feet from the center line. And so I told him, what if I dig the shrubs up and you can just do that? Because then to the left of our property is Kathy's property, and there are trees that are sitting 18 feet from the road, the midline of the road, which I would assume they're going to dig a ditch unless they want to take down those massive trees, and he said he can, but that he hasn't gotten there yet. Question, he keeps telling me that because they can, they will dig to the 33-foot mark, which is basically half of my front yard. I think I'm one of the only houses on the street that's
Who were you
close.
talking to?
Kurt Dunn.
Okay, thank you.
And I wrote to Lee Dunn to ask if there was any compromise that we could come to, and never heard back from him. But Kurt said that his dad sent him over to speak to me about it, and just basically said, if I'll dig up the shrubs, because that would give them the 21 feet from the midline, which would be even farther than they'll be able to do without cutting the trees down just past our house. And he said, no, that we must get rid of everything, and that because he can, he will dig. And the line shows it's halfway through our front yard. We don't have a very large front yard. And if there's any way that we can just keep the fence, I'll move the shrubs if that's absolutely necessary. I said I would dig the ditch myself. We have ditches on either side that are massive. We don't have a drainage problem. But he said, and I understand that there's more stuff happening that it could be, but I just, if there was any compromise to not do the full 33 feet, because I don't think there's any way they're going to be able to do it the whole length of the road. Why does it have to be just at my property? And he's not willing to discuss anything other than me moving them as of
Okay.
today. I went to the town office. I went to,
Well,
I called Bob. Sorry.
you've come to the right spot now.
Yes,
This is
hope
the,
so.
this is the right spot. I think we have to look into it.
That's,
He's
yeah. that's
ready to
all
do
I
it.
can say.
We'll look into
Okay,
it.
thank you.
Now we'll chat with them.
Equipment is
Then-
all there.
The equipment is right at the next, so I think it's probably your property as well, right next to our neighbors across the street. So they're down the hill a little bit, and so he was ready to do it this morning, he said, but he'll give us time a week to move it. And then I said, could you just let me figure this out? And he said, no, I'll start now if you're not gonna move it. And so he really didn't give me any wiggle room. So I went and bought a shovel, and that's why I'm dressed like this. I'm ready to dig, but I would really like to just not, because there should be plenty of, 21 feet from the center lines, more than they're gonna
What-
get a
What's
little
your
bit further
name
down.
again? I'm sorry, I didn't.
Emily Villarreal,
And your address?
238 Sadie Dunn.
He's getting ready. Ditching.
Mhm.
Yeah, they've been working on it all day, but like I said, and maybe if they could do just in front, we'll move the shrubs if they have to, but
Yeah, not knowing anything about what the situation is there, I can't speak authoritatively, but we can certainly talk to Lee.
if we
and-
can have a conversation, or even, even if we had gotten a week notice to be able to talk about it, but it was this morning. He said he's gonna be doing it today. So,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
Karen Maris, 1065 Pond Road. Can you repeat that the RFP didn't go out for paving? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Because a bunch of us were at the budget meeting, and Kathy, I know you missed one, so I can't promise you were there, but the whole conversation with them was getting our numbers together with Lee and Kurt, was to get the bids out to the paving companies in the spring. So I don't know why that's not done.
Talking about Sadie Dunn,
Yeah,
it hasn't been done yet.
but we talked about it. So again, with the communication,
He said he was gonna have it to us in May. And it's the middle of June.
so we probably missed the boat on that again. But yeah, I guess that was it.
And they are grinding the road, right? They're not doing a skim coat like they did on CV Corner.
Yeah, it's supposed to be grind.
Yeah, I'm supposed to grind.
Paving. Yeah, no. Got Lee a copy of the paving bid that went out in Reedfield, just so he had a copy of something other than what we have. But I haven't seen a copy yet.
Okay, I don't see Scott here.
Oh, he thought we started at 7. He called me, so he may be a few minutes late if we
Okay,
need
so we'll,
other stuff.
we'll
and
work
come
on the
back.
next item. The next item is just to let everybody know that we're going to have a working session with the select board and the office staff to go over our financial process and see if there aren't opportunities for improving and for essentially going through the accounting system to make sure that the categories that we want to have are in place.
Can we make sure we invite Jason and the fire department to that? Or at least Jason.
Yeah. Okay, next up, Peggy, I know you wanted to talk about reviewing the policy and process for liens and
Yes. I put some paperwork out there from the Maine Municipal with the changes that was noted by, I think it was Karen at the town meeting Saturday. We will be working on that item number. But we also want to do work around the increase in lien. And the reason they have taken a very sharp increase, and I will share with you just this week that when we do send the liens into the Kennebec County deeds, they have to be notarized. So they asked me to notarize. We notarized 150 liens at $25 each. So that cost us taxpayers $375 will be the check that will be going out with the packet. And that's just one of the fees. So we need to look into why this is happening and also the article to make sure that it coincides with the Maine Municipal. And what we're looking at, just to let you know, is just the lien for property tax. It's not, hasn't got anything. I had a couple calls today. They thought it had to do with liens from a mortgage company. That's why I printed the whole packet out there. It breaks it down from the mortgage company to the property tax lien to also renters and things on the third item. So that work will be coming. And did we say we needed a special town meeting to change that article?
Yeah, we would.
So when we get our work done, we will have a special town meeting for that article. Was it 31, I think? Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
So we wanted to be open about that and let everyone know that that's coming.
We're gonna do that one, and then I'm just for safety, I'm gonna amend the revenue article just to make sure that that's back open-ended.
The which article?
The revenue article. That should have been an estimate of 932,000, not 932,000 as the flat number.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. And that's all I have unless anyone has any questions. I did 150 that went to the Kennebec County deeds. I should clarify that a little bit. That is not all of them. The other liens that Heather worked on before she retired was for the signed for people to do to get certified mail. So that fee is also not included in what I just stated as $3,750. So you had certified mail that went out. That was a different stack. So when I went in there that day, it was literally like a ream of paper. And I thought I was notarizing a few.
Peggy, that's a typical number. That's not a lot.
Yeah,
That's not more than what we normally see.
Okay.
That's typical.
Okay. I'm taking this from history from the clerks. They say it's on the rise.
Yep.
So, yep.
So how many years is that? I mean, how far back are you going on? Are you given a grace period of a year or two?
I did not look at any of the numbers or even the people. I just put my head down because I'm notarizing the treasurer's signature and I just
so I think,
kept
Peggy,
stamping.
I'm sorry if I'm speaking
No,
out of term here,
go
but I believe that number was all the individuals or property holders that did not pay their taxes in the most recent round.
Right, like 2024 or 2025?
Correct,
So they have 18 months now to pay their tax.
right.
If they don't within that 18 months, then they go through foreclosure.
Karen Mears, 1065 Pond Road. Speaking of trends, the trends in the last 5 years have been about 115 liens going each year. So going to 150, I think you mixed up number two. You said $750, but it was 3,700.
$1,750.
The second time, yep.
Or
Yeah.
because it's $25.
Yep.
To the Kennebec County deeds to put that in there.
And that's okay, because I mean, it is what it is for the cost, because we do recoup that money when they do pay their liens, if they pay their liens.
Right.
We get that money back, and it is in the budget one way or the other, I believe. But it's, so 115 is about the trending average for the past 5 years. So 150, that is a steep increase.
And that may be due to the fact that Heather closed those out earlier this year than she has done in prior years. I
Could
do
be.
know that that's,
No, that could contribute, absolutely. And there was a lot of closed time, including the deadline time. So if you only could go meet with your parents to go get the money to go to whatever, just the timing didn't work out. But yes, I think that's a steep increase from the 115 for a lot of different
Plus
factors.
interest too. Interest on top of that. So.
Of course. But we get the tax money, the interest money, and the filing fees back as income to the town, recorded in the revenue to be addressed in the special meeting.
Right. So I'm trying to find out when we stopped selling properties for back taxes, and I have yet to come up with a definite year. Of talking to a half a dozen people in town, they're saying between 10 and 15 years ago was the last time that we sold property.
I think you're not wrong, but I think there's a lot of work to be done with it. We're not going to solve it all tonight, but
Yeah.
I would love to assist you in that if you would take my assistance.
Right. Thank you for that. You're welcome.
yeah, my understanding is that two treasurers back,
Maybe, yeah.
she decided that she didn't want to do foreclosures on people living in houses anyway. And I know Carrie was very, very reluctant to foreclose on anybody, try to give everybody the best chance possible. But it's, I think, getting to be time to be a little more aggressive about this. Any other questions on this?
Thank you.
The next topic is, again, just announcing that we're going to have a working session to create a policy book. And Tyler, do you want to speak to that a bit?
Yep. So last year we worked through a considerable amount of policies. And I'm going to draw back to time on the school board. We need to really look at the majority of the policy book, and A, does the policy make sense to have it? B, does best practice align with the policy? C, does the practical realities of running the town align with the policy? So if the policy isn't working for how the town operates, then change the policy to align to both best practice and to how we're operating currently. And C, to get a consistent format and structure. I know Peggy and I had said that we were going to work through that. But there was a couple of outstanding policies that we were still working on at the end of the year that I needed feedback on. AI, the website, the bidding and procurement policy, and the campaigning and petitioning on town property policy. So if we could get through those in that working session, and then from there kind of outline a process to get through reviewing the whole book this year of everything that we didn't do last year.
It sounds like this is going to be a series of working sessions, perhaps.
I would almost recommend like two of us go off, draft policy, bring it back, debate it, discuss it in a meeting, take any feedback, and then bring it again for a vote as the most efficient way to do this. I know you had said you wanted to work with me on it, and I don't mind doing it. So
Okay.
but definitely on those four that we had kind of drafted at the beginning of last year, at the end of last year, definitely would like to work through those.
And I'd like to see in the policy book that every policy that we work on, the date is on the policy itself. Because right now, going through that policy book, if you're scrolling through the tabs and you're going down, you don't know when that was created. There's nothing that says it was revised or new. So I think it needs to stay on the document.
Yep.
Yes.
Adopt to
thank
date.
you.
Because I think when they got moved to the new website and put into the current format, all of that historical data was lost off the original documents. Or if it was, like they said they were adopted in 2023, but I don't think they were. And the vibe you guys are giving me this is that they weren't. So I'd like to go through. If
Yeah,
we
that-
need to revote on policies, we'll revote on them.
Yep.
It's not a lot for us to do that, so that'll kind of be the ongoing project into the fall.
Okay, next up is, here we are, approaching a new fiscal year, and it's time to select a new chair.
Gosh, Bob went through this whole meeting without doing that first.
Yeah, we could have done that first. So, the chair is open to nomination.
Carl.
I'd like to second it. Just want to say, it's my opportunity to say that I think you've done a great job this year. And I think Tyler, on the budget committee, it was as clear, as transparent, as organized. I mean, I've only been involved in a couple of years. I thought the leadership, really, those two pieces did a great job this year.
I agree.
I would second Carl's nomination.
I agree.
And we need a vote.
Yes, we do. Come on, it's got to be unanimous.
Okay, Carl, it's all yours.
Well, thank you. So
Vice
the,
Chair?
thank you. Are there any other items that anybody on the board wants to bring up? Because I have
We have
one
to
more.
nominate vice chair as well.
There's one
Yeah,
thing that I think,
Yeah,
we-
let's do.
one
vice-
thing I think that we want to start thinking about, start thinking about is how to talk to the town about the town manager model. Right? If we're going to do that in the November election, we need to start planning that process out. So I don't know exactly what that means now, but that's the next biggie, it seems to me.
Okay, I do want to take a step back,
Okay.
and I totally agree with that.
Yep. Okay.
That now is the time to start having those discussions, but we probably should also nominate a vice chair.
Oh, shoot, yeah. I think Bob done a great job as a vice chair. And all the time and effort that you put into this job,
Yeah,
you're a gift to this town, and I would be happy to nominate you as vice chair.
I second the motion.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Mhm.
And a vote.
And thank you for all your
Or is there-
work at the transfer station. Bob.
Yes.
For everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere, but mainly that.
That's the fun part.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have one additional item to bring to the floor, and that is that the town voted on the task force options committee. And the question is how to go forward with creating or nominating the individuals that we want to be on that committee. So I don't know that we clearly haven't had any time to think through this. There are probably, I think we want to target something like 6 to 8 people. Just looking for input on that. And the question is, do we have nominees that we want to put forward tonight?
I don't want to vote tonight on it. I think we still need to do.
Kathy Jacobs.
Well, let's talk about the number first. What's a good number
I think
before we're getting into people? My sense is probably a manageable size so they can work together, but large enough to have diverse perspectives.
So
Yeah.
I'd like to hear what Sue has to say.
The task force is essentially going to be an independent committee that evaluates options for our school system or our schools, whether we If, for example, the RSU 38 chooses to discontinue kindergarten, or not kindergarten, but elementary school here, then do we want to go off on our own? And the task force will define what the options are if that were the case. It's also to say, maybe we should stay with the RSU 38 system no matter what. But yes. Yeah, please come to this microphone.
It's being recorded, that's why.
Oh, sorry. So this will be a third group of, because there are two at the school who are already doing
Correct,
Yes.
things there. So this will be a third task force.
correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was approved Saturday at town meeting.
But I believe between the three, the missions are all different.
Okay.
Okay.
And then will there be communication? Will they have to meet together? What is the,
No, this is independent of both of those committees.
This would be well, we would certainly want to have, I would propose that we have an individual from the local advisory committee on the options task force. So that we have the best information about what RSU 38 planning is about.
Should be from the school board,
Is-
not the advisory committee.
is there anywhere that we can find information to find out what the task force is call each individual one and what each of them has as goals and who they report? It just becomes confusing when you hear about all these different
Of course.
groups.
Sure.
If we could just find all the definitions and the,
Yeah,
I agree with you. I think it's just a little early.
okay.
Because we just did it Saturday. We created 2 new committees Saturday. Exactly how they're going to interact and how they're going to work with the board is still hazy to me. So I think it's all good. It's all fine. But I think you're right. We actually don't have that
And
yet.
just
I don't
coming
think.
up with the definition.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Like
Well-
I say, I'm not voting for nominees tonight because I'm not there yet.
No.
yeah. Sue, you have something you want to? Yeah, a little bit, but
Good evening, Susan Herman, Bean Road. And I was one of the people that came before you, I think in late March or early April, asking for this task force. The task force hasn't been approved and authorized at town meeting, so I don't think we need to revisit that tonight. We have a very short window in which to come up with a list of options and research them, consult with our educational and legal experts to figure out what's possible, what it's going to cost, what the financial implications and educational implications of each option is. And the reason we're here, there's a few of us, we have a proposed motion for you to consider. We have the mission of the task force that was actually in the warrant article that was approved. And we have a list of people that would be willing to serve. So if you want me to go through that, I can, if that would be helpful to you. But I don't think, debating about whether we should have a task force or not is really the issue tonight.
I wasn't doing that.
Okay,
That's not, you've got a task force.
okay.
I'm behind you now. I lost and, move on.
And we want to work cooperatively with everybody, including the strategic plan, the local school committee. And Peggy's absolutely right. Every one of these groups has a different mission. And the mission of this options committee is to look at, if there is a decision to reduce the number of elementary schools next March, including Mount Vernon, whether we have any other options, whether it is better to stay where we are or whether it's better to look at something else. And that's what we're going to be doing, assuming that we get officially created and we get some membership. So do you want me to read the proposal? Okay. So this is what I would suggest that someone move. In accordance with Article 3 of the Mount Vernon Annual Town Meeting warrant, which was approved on June 13, 2026, the Mount Vernon Educational Options Task Force, EOTF, is created. The charge to the EOTF is to prepare a comprehensive viewpoint neutral written report to the town that examines the educational options available to the town of Mount Vernon, including continued participation in RSU 38 and all identified alternatives, evaluating each option on equal terms with respect to projected costs, legal requirements, practical implications, expected impact on student development and success, and potential for community benefit, including use of school facilities. The select board requests that the EOTF provide the report by December 14, 2026, or as soon thereafter as is practicable. The following persons are appointed to the EOTF Select Board Chair. I'm sorry. The following persons are appointed to the EOTF. Select Board Chair Carl Rogers, Local School Committee Liaison, to be determined. Deborah Bader, Rachel Criswell, Susan Herman, myself, Destiny Rourke, Anna Libby, and Charlie Bader as financial advisor to the EOTF. And all of these people have been spoken to and have agreed to serve should that be your choice.
Say those again.
Pardon?
You say it.
Repeat them? Okay. Chair Carl Rogers, local school committee liaison to be determined after they have their first organizational meeting, which I don't think they've had yet. Deborah Bader, Rachel Criswell, and her name is spelled Criswell. Susan Herman, Destiny Rourke, Rourke, Anna Libby, and Charlie Bader. And Charlie would be a financial advisor to the task force. I have more actually here. Article 34 of the Mount Vernon Annual Town Meeting warrant, which was approved on June 13th, 2026, raised and appropriated the sum of $25,000 for the purposes of a consultant and legal fees. The EOTF is authorized to make recommendations to the select board regarding the selection of appropriate consultants for the purposes of assisting the EOTF in fulfilling its responsibilities to prepare an options report. In accordance with the town's bidding and procurement policy, any contracts for consultant services will be duly authorized by the select board in accordance with said policy and past practice. The EOTF is encouraged to share expenses with a similar entity established by the town of Wayne as appropriate for efficiency and to avoid duplication of effort. So that's the suggested proposal for consideration. I can email this to whoever if you want it.
We need to have a member of the RSU, one of our RSU 38 board of directors members on this as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it needs to, if RSU 38 is an option, there needs to have RSU 38 board member on there. They're an elected member and they should be on there, whichever one of them wants to be.
Are they interested in being on that?
We haven't spoken to them about this. This got voted in on Saturday and we're making decisions about it.
No,
on
no, we're not
Monday.
making.
No,
Not making any decisions.
No, Susan, all right, so that's one, the composition's one question. I have another question. Why December? Given that the strategic planning committee for the RSU is expected to release their stuff, I'm looking at Kathy, maybe Tyler knows, in March.
Middle of March.
So
They-
why don't we wait? Yes, please.
The thought was that we would have a report and we would want to present it to the select board, to the town, have a public hearing or an opportunity for discussion so that we are prepared when the decision comes down. And we might, based upon the public discussion, want to do further investigation or before, it allows sufficient time for people to consider the options. And, you know, that's 3 months, and 3 months is, I believe their report is due out beginning of March. I think it's actually like March 3rd.
Right, but
Does anybody know?
They're not making they're only getting their report in March. They're not making decisions on it in March.
It's going to be presented for approval by the board the beginning of March. That's my understanding, unless it's changed. That's what the timeline. So we were December is the holidays. I think if we wait after the holidays, that's not a lot of time. So if you
What-
want to change, the time frame, that's fine. It's a very short time frame. That's why we're here tonight, because we want to get going on it.
I appreciate that. And I'm not, just FYI for everyone, I'm not fighting this committee. I mean, it's fine. You know, I had nice conversations after the board meeting. It's fine. So but I would not support, and I'm one of 5, I don't know what my colleagues think here. I would not support a report prior to the release of that strategic planning document.
I wouldn't either.
I think you should gather all the information. I mean, why move forward with something this big without really understanding where the RSU is coming from?
Also, on the appointment of members, we have an appointments policy that requires resumes to be submitted. We adopted an appointments policy in September that we need resumes submitted for appointments.
I'm sorry.
We need resume.
We need resumes submitted for appointments per our new appointments policy that was adopted in September.
Resumes from volunteers to be
Yeah.
on the town committee.
Yes.
Well, that can be done. I've never heard of that requirement before, but that's fine.
That we need resumes for appointees. We adopted that.
I still don't know
policy.
how many we should have yet.
Debbie?
Thank you. Debbie Bader, Belgrade Road. So to address Dan's concern about the timing of our report, this is your decision. This is your task force. But I think it's important that the task force be allowed to have public hearings, have discussion, just share progress, share sort of to-date work, and get some feedback. Because I don't think we want to be in a position in March to only start the feedback process. So that's 1. 2, I just want to give you a sense of who the people are that Susan is suggesting, that I second and concur with. 3 of the people were former select board people: Anna, myself, Susan, my husband. I know it's kind of feels maybe like the Bader show. I apologize for that. But he's a good numbers guy, as I think Bob can attest. I am not a good numbers person. So he was a former town treasurer. He is a grant writer, and so has a lot of experience in that regard. Lily Bettino is here representing the local school committee. They haven't met yet, but all 3 members have a real stake in and are stakeholders with respect to the elementary school. And Destiny, 2 children for next year. Yeah, 2 children coming. So I know, Tyler, when you came up with sort of the bones of this, you wanted stakeholders, you wanted finance people. I think you were nodding to the, as I like to say, legacy people, gray hairs, who have some experience in town. So that's who we are. I hope I haven't forgotten anybody. Have I forgotten anybody? Rachel. Yes.
Former. Yes.
Oh, excellent. Rachel Criswell. Sorry. Keeping that all in my head. So, this is at your discretion. If you want a resume, I've got one at the ready.
Oh, that's just our policy.
Nope,
It's not
great.
it's not for this committee. It's for all committees now.
we can all get resumes together.
I want to ask something about your proposed composition. So I appreciate that there are, particularly the 2 organizers are going into this open-minded. And we want the committee to be open-minded. There are couple ways you can do that. One way is everybody that goes on the committee is open-minded. That's one way. The other option is some people are open-minded, some are coming from different perspectives and they sort of balance each other. Right. So did you think about that and thinking about who might serve? Because I do have somebody in mind that I actually can't imagine putting together a committee like this. I'm to be honest, without Kathy Jacobs on it. She's a former board chair, two terms as board chair, administrator, grandchildren, educator, steeped in this issue. But she might come from a slightly different perspective. I'm just wondering. You just like,
This is real. I defer to you guys. You know, I have no objection. Because some of the options that we'll be looking at, or they'll be looking at, will be staying in and potentially withdrawing. You know, we have to look at all options. And so as long as someone who's not, I'm not speaking to you about you, Kathy, because I know, but as far as an RSU board member who has already voted to take our kindergarten and send them to Reedfield, they did reverse that vote.
But they were still elected by the townspeople
They-
to represent them.
As was Lily Patino and Lori Putnam and Diane Chick. So, but it's up to you. It's up to you.
And I
guys,
think
what you want to
this
do.
also needs, like, vote on all of the membership tonight. This hasn't been put to the town to ask if there's people outside of this group that wants to be a part of this. So I think we need to post that we're looking for committee members, and give it probably a month or at least a month to get feedback from other people in the community that want to be on this.
Just a quick interjection here too. No, the committee cannot officially start working until the beginning of the next fiscal year. And this goes for the work of Diane and Lilia and Lori Putnam as well. This was the election in the elected positions officially take place and begin starting July 1st. So that alone is another 2 weeks. I just wanted to add that context.
thank you, Rami.
Thank you, Remy.
Thank you.
Kathy Jacob. Couple of questions set to ask before anybody even spoke, so I'm still going to ask them. My first one was, how do you intend to appoint the people to this committee? I think you need to have a wider net thrown. I think you need more diversity than the names that I heard. I didn't hear any educators that were asked to be on that committee. So I think that I appreciate all the people that came forward. I understand the compassion that they have around this issue, but we need some diversity on that. So that's up to you. My other question is, there's $25,000 that our tax money just agreed to, who's going to be overseeing how that money's spent? Because that is our money.
The select board will.
And I would hope that you would be overseeing that and making sure that it's going where
Yes.
some
There
people in the
needs to be
town
bids
wanted it
for
to.
all of that consultant and legal work. That all needs to be bidded out. It's over $1,000 per our bid policy, so we'll need bids.
Susan?
That was my question too. What, are you going to be working with Wayne? So are you going to be working as one group or two separate groups?
Do you want me to answer?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Well, that,
So what was contemplated was that we would work together. We would work separately and together. I think we would collaborate. We would have meetings separately and we also would have meetings together. We may try to do Zoom meetings, and that type of thing. What I anticipate is if I'm appointed is that we would work together so that we're not duplicating efforts, so that we have joint consultants, because the issues really are the same except for, like, the options will probably be the same or very similar, but how it affects the particular community might be a little different. We have different school sizes. We're bigger, they're smaller. And there may be different impacts, on the community. So to the extent we can, we would envision working together and being more efficient that way and not, duplicating efforts and costs. So that's number one. Number two, yes, we're fine with whoever you decide is appropriate. But my understanding was, as far as making sure you have balanced and we're not going in with biased opinions, my understanding is this task force is not going to be making recommendations. We're going to be coming up with options. That's pretty objective. You have this option, you have this option, you have this option. This is what it's going to cost. This is how we would get there. This is how it would, affect the education offered to the students, that type of thing. It's pretty objective. It's not really, were you for the options committee or were you against it? If people who were against forming this committee think they can objectively look at that, that's fine. I'm not sure about an RSU board member. And you would have to talk with them to see whether they would feel comfortable looking at options other than the RSU. If they do, and you think that's appropriate, and they would add, a perspective that would be valuable,
Well,
I'm open to that.
it should
Wouldn't be
be
opposed to that.
all perspectives. And I think we pay 6 million or $3.4 million a year to RSU 38. Those are elected representatives on that board. They should be part of assessing our options.
I think that's fair. But,
Since I've been on the board, we have asked RSU 38 members to come to present to us 3-4 times. Did they come?
The school board members did.
Oh,
well, the one thing I do want to say with regard to working with Wayne and so forth, because I'm not even just going to direct this to you, I want to ask the board that we slow down on that sort of an issue until the committee has been constituted. Let the committee come together and decide how they think we should go. They should make a proposal to us. Maybe they're going to propose, work closely with Wayne and so forth. I think I think we shouldn't predetermine that prior to constituting the committee.
Yep. And I have 3 grandchildren in the school system right now. So, I want my grandkids to get the best education, but I just want to know if this new advisory committee, did they ask any other educators other than, like you mentioned, my wife, but I haven't heard of any other mention of other educators or that's going to affect my grandkids' education.
Well, I think Tyler had a good point. I think we should advertise that we're looking for people to join the committee. We pull all the applicants together and make a choice. But I still back to the question, maybe we could decide tonight the size. I don't know, how big should this be?
I think it should be,
6, 8, 10, 12?
I think it should be 10 to 12.
I think that becomes more difficult to work through. Yeah, I think that's too many
Yeah,
personally.
big-
We're,
Bigger.
I mean, we're asking for a fairly comprehensive report. You're gonna need
Yeah, but the more you,
then 9, 11 or 9.
Like the Supreme Court.
Anna?
I just have a quick thing. Related to your question about educators on the committee. Well, it sounds like we're not choosing names tonight, but Melanie Hall, who teaches at the school, is willing to.
Right.
Just add that in.
She wouldn't. That's great.
Okay. So we've got that.
Sue?
I just wanted to respond to what Kathy said. What I read did include following the town's procurement procedure, number 1, and number 2, any contracts, expenditure of funds would be through the select board. So I think those bases are covered.
And I just have one request, do with it as you will. If the fiscal year is sort of determinative, I get it. You know, that's 2 weeks from now. We are under, you all, and we are under a bit of a time crunch. And there is, as Tyler said, a lot of work to be done. And so the sooner y'all make your decision about who's going to constitute this, the sooner the options task force can get busy.
I would propose advertising 9 seats tonight. And I would say that the first meeting in July is going to be a little bit busy because we're going to be doing all the other appointments for the reappointments for the other committees. But the second meeting in July, we appoint.
I think that if we can move it up earlier, I think that would be trying to meet the task force committee's objectives. If we have to wait another 2 weeks, I think it just
Well, we can't
it
appoint.
delays things.
Our next meeting's the 29th. We can't appoint on the 29th. So it'd have to be then the first meeting in
Okay.
July.
And mind you, we haven't established that we're looking for a report by December.
No,
No.
I'm thinking it could
So-
be by the end of the fiscal year in July.
Something of that sort. I just can't imagine doing this report prior to the RSU's plan.
Nope.
So it may be a little less urgent, but I may be wrong. I may,
It's options. It's options.
Yeah.
They want to work on options.
And
to
I think
hopefully counteract whatever the RSU is planning. So it's options.
Or to say goodbye to your, who knows what the RSU strategic planning committee is going to do? You know, they may keep our school open. They may close our school. We don't have local control over that anymore.
Yes, we do. We have to vote on it.
We do have a vote, but it's like stay in or get out. Those are your options. You know, so if we wait until July or the end of June, and they say in March, we're moving your kindergarten as a 1-year slow roll to close, we can't forestall that if we wait till June.
oh, Debbie, it's going to take years, right? I mean, it would take years to leave a RSU would take 2 years anyhow, correct?
Well, that's, a lot of towns are doing it. A lot of towns are doing it.
All right, I'm
And-
just saying it, we're not doing anything by September of next year, no matter what.
There's a lot of things that can be done by September of next year. I'm not saying we could fully withdraw, but there's steps that can be taken that hopefully, if the town votes, whatever the town votes, I can live with. Maybe not happily, but I can live with, certainly. But if the town votes to choose an option that's presented by the options task force, my hope is that whatever they choose will, if they choose to withdraw, for example, that we can forestall sort of this effort to just take grade after grade after grade after grade after grade out of the school. It's a slow death. So, you know, we'll see. It's up to you guys. Lily.
Hi, Lily Botino, 26 Minnehaha Lake Road. Again, new to these processes and just want to inject a little positivity and gratitude. Thank you. Thank you so much to the names that are stepping forward and giving their time, their free time to do this for me as a parent with 2 kids about to enter the school system. Thank you. I feel like what I've heard tonight has felt like really thoughtful discussion and questioning, but also kind of an investigation or examination into why people are doing what they're doing. And it's for me, it's for the other parents in the room. And I'm so grateful. Thank you. It makes me feel better. On the point of the timeline, I do want to give that emotional parent perspective because I think it's important. I came to the first meeting here that I'd ever been to and told you how the rug was pulled from beneath me last March when I thought that my son would be going to kindergarten at Mount Vernon Elementary. And I learned through a Facebook post that that was not true. That vulnerability, that startle, that feeling of fear as a parent, I know many of you are parents, but I'm a parent with students going through this now. I felt unequipped, uninformed, and with little support around me. I immediately came here and I was so thankful. I met with Carl. He was wonderful, asked me questions. I hope to get to know all of you. Thank you for your time and your service. But I really appreciate that this group is wanting to offer preparation. So when the next time the rug gets pulled from underneath me, I know what my options are as a parent and a member of this community. So the sooner that we can get that done, the more equipped we are come spring for whatever the decision is. I also just want to clarify that whether it's immediate school closure, which I agree with you, Mr. Shea, I don't think will happen necessarily, but the stripping away has been discussed at multiple meetings, and it'd be great for you again. Check out Mara Tikin, her data on this. Stripping away grade by grade, compromising our school is just going to further lack of engagement, lack of enrollment, and it's going to expedite the process of closure. So what felt like, I know the RSU talked a lot about parents like me flocking in crisis about the kindergarten. We really saw that as an opening to the deterioration of our school. It did feel like the stakes were high. I do believe that they were high. That's what the data shows. So the sooner that we can make options and work to be ready for when the strategic plan gives its recommendations, that as a parent would make me feel so supported by our community and by this task force. Thank you.
Thank you.
Emily Weber, 330 Wings Mills Road. As an employee of RSU 38, I have privy information to this whole thing about closure of the school, how they're coming about it. I was the lead on the contract committee for the bus drivers, so I deal a lot with the boss on transportation, and transportation includes where are our kids going to school? Are we driving them to Mount Vernon? Are we driving them away? How our routes look. So this all kind of comes together with a lot of different areas. They are really, and this is a superintendent who I spent time with, really looking at birth rate. They're looking at birth rate across the state. They're going at it through districts, and they're going at it through our own town. And they're looking, and she's quite a charter. So she's charting out what the birth rates are, and they're projecting enrollment over the next X amount of years. They're doing it quickly and they're looking to move quickly. So for the timeline, I would say I appreciate you ladies very much. I did not know this was coming about. I missed the meeting on Saturday. I would try to expedite the process and get their research moving quicker. Please don't delay because it's going to happen faster than we think it is. They really are looking at how the best way to save money and all of these things, which I know we all need to do, and taxes are a big deal, but Wayne and Mount Vernon are on the chopping block. And it's not a secret if you work for the school district. So if there's a way to get the resumes going, applications going, let the community become a committee and get this whole work started quicker, it's going to benefit anybody that wants our school to stay open.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sue?
On the timeline, one of the reasons that the March 3rd timeline, I think, was picked based upon what I've heard and read is that they wanted the study done before they start the budget for the following year, which starts in March. So whatever is coming out of this strategic plan.
They vote on the budget process starts in December for RSU 38.
I'm just telling you what I've read, Tyler, in the materials that have come out from RSU 38 is that whatever is coming out of this strategic plan is going to be used to make budget decisions for the next fiscal year. So in other words, the decision they made this March for next year, they're going to make those types of decisions next March for the following year based upon the strategic plan. And what they said in the one-year plan, as you know, there were 4 options for years 2 through 5, 2 of which involved closing Wayne and Mount Vernon, one of which involved closing just Wayne, and one of which was keeping all four schools open. And the language in that plan suggested that that would only happen if there was some big change in the projected student population, or there was a vast amount of community support for keeping the schools open.
So I have a question for either Lily or Deb or you, Sue. This committee's not been constituted, but you guys are the organizers. Let's face it, right? What do you expect from what's after the report? You had mentioned a town vote. Do you think, I'm just asking, what will be after the report? I mean, you issue your report in December. What does that mean? Does that mean there will be some sort of vote in June?
Well, I think in some ways that's driven by the RSU.
Yeah.
So we don't know. I mean, if it depends what the RSU recommends, it depends on your will, frankly, you're the decision makers. And if certainly if the RSU recommends a slow closure or a fast closure, I think that requires you all to work with the town to figure out what the town wants to do in response to that. I think it screams that to me.
Yeah.
That's my only expectation is like, all right, do we go along with that or not? And it's fine. Whatever the town votes, the town votes. I utterly respect that. But that's some decision I think will have to be made.
I think that's a good answer, and it helps me on the timeline, to be honest, because one version is you do the options by December, and then the strategic plan comes out, and maybe it's a big nothing burger. As to say, there's no dramatic changes. We're getting a few more students here, the value of local schools, 11 in kindergarten. So the report, a lot of work, but doesn't trigger anything. Another possibility is that they're going to start closing things fast, and that triggers the town's reaction.
And I think the reason I'm supporting this options task force is primarily to know what the options are, rather than to say, this is the option we are. I don't expect this committee to say, this is the best option. It's just to say, here are the options.
Okay.
Tom?
I just want to say, I'm not against the options task force, but I never found many decisions that are really rushed are sound decisions, and this seems like we're rushing it. I don't know if somehow we can work with the RSU to show that they're trying to get things together, but I wish it wasn't rushed.
Sue?
On the issue of rushing, I think I was not on the plan to plan committee. The plan committee was the committee that was planning how they were going to do the strategic plan. And I believe we had Dan Holman was on that committee, but my understanding is that some people thought that the strategic plan timeline was too quick. It was too rushed, tried to get that to get extended. And the decision was not to do that specifically because they wanted to have the information before they did the budget work for the following year. So that's the reason for the rush on this. The other thing I would just point out about the rush is that when this decision was made in March, there were a few of us that came here and asked you guys to create this committee yourselves, and you declined to do it. Fine, put it out to the town vote. So it's been, 2.5 months since I was here asking for this.
Okay.
And just one other thing, Wayne did do that. Wayne created their options task force as a vote of the select board, not They did not wait, and they didn't wait till town meeting, sorry. And they funded it a few days ago at town meeting.
So to move things along, I would like to make a motion that this Elections Options Task Force is constituted with 9 members. That would at least be something concrete from today.
Second.
And a vote? 5-0. I think that's as far as we can take this point tonight. I think there's opportunity for further conversation, but
So any of us who have been on all these committees all these years, do we get grandfathered for
Yes.
on the resume rule?
It's for new
Oh, yeah.
new appointments.
A paragraph, just.
So we'll be doing the appointments on July 13th. It'll be our first meeting in July. Yep, that's our first meeting in July. Yep,
When will this be posted for the public to be able to?
I'm doing it right now.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
any other comments on this before we move on? And we're moving on backwards in terms of talking about
Thank you all for coming.
cybersecurity
Thank you.
policy.
Yes, and thank you
Thank
for
you.
your, thank you
Yes.
for your community spirit and time.
Okay, so the next topic up is to talk about cybersecurity policy and tech AUP. Scott is here to talk on that subject.
Good evening. Thank you for listening this evening. I put together an example of what a AUP should look like, the town of Mount Vernon.
Can you describe what AUP means to, so everybody
AUP
is aware?
is a access user policy for all the cybersecurity that we have, potential cybersecurity issues that we have, being data and town hardware. That kind of dovetails into use of the machines, not using machines for personal use, Facebook, personal banking accounts, web surfing, things like that, where we're very susceptible to taking on malware on the system. So provided this for you guys to take a look at. That you could possibly take a look at the convenience, kind it up as necessary.
And Scott, is this something that you wrote, we wrote, or is this from MMA or?
At MMA today, regarding cybersecurity training. I'd like to see a platform where we can test all individuals, all municipal employees, as to what we're running into today as far as cyber threats are concerned, just to keep people up to speed as to what we're dealing with, what they can expect to see in a phishing email or a man-in-the-middle type breach. Just some things that people don't really think about until they get hit with it. You know, it could be as simple as an employee wanting to change a distribution account number and money's going to the wrong account. Things like that, different scenarios that these platforms test people on. We can do it in such a way, there are platforms like KnowBe4, KNOWBE4. It's a pretty well-known platform for companies testing their staff, where a phishing email will go out, you know, on a Friday afternoon, and they look at it, and if they click on it, instead of deleting it, it will tell them that it was a test phishing account, where we keep track of what people do. Now, as an example, with that type of cybersecurity training, KnowBe4 is a platform very well known. It's $3.75 a month per user. I figured we have about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 10 people that would qualify to make it mandatory, for us to make it mandatory that they take this training. When they take this training, they take the course, we keep track of when they take it and the dates, we assign when this training needs to be done. And we just keep track of it as to what they're learning for cybersecurity. It's not when, it's not if we get hacked, it's when. It is.
Oh, I get 5 to 10 of these a week.
Yeah. And it's just a matter of time.
I delete everything I don't know. So I mean, if somebody has sent me something and I don't know who they are, I delete it.
And that's
Because you've already given me the speech when I start.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes we forget.
Yeah.
And and they're making these emails look more authentic
Yeah.
all the time. So that's what makes me nervous. Now,
Yeah.
also, I want to take advantage of MMA's cybersecurity insurance that we haven't been able to do for the past several years.
Right.
Now is the time that I think we should do this and get a sign off from MMA. Part of my call to Marcia tomorrow is to get that form so we can go through the qualifications on it and we can go through everything
think that's
just to make sure
excellent move.
that
Yeah.
we're in line with it. And if we can get everybody to sign off on that, we can get free cybersecurity insurance.
There shouldn't be any problem with that anymore.
Wouldn't be any issue with it whatsoever, but we really should take advantage of this. Yeah, I think it's very, very important. And it's free. It's part of our dues to MMA. So I really highly recommend that we move ahead with that. So the policy to me is a no-brainer. The testing is up to you guys as to how we want to do it. If we want to pay a monthly subscription on it, or we take the training videos through MMA and we keep track of it manually.
Can we do this for less than a year's worth of time? Or to institute it periodically as opposed to consistently?
Explain more.
Maybe just do it 1 or 2 months out of the year.
Oh, good question. I don't know if it's a mandatory 1-year subscription. My guess is it's a month to month. And if we wanted to change it, we could. But if we did this, I'd recommend doing it for the first year. It's not a lot of money. We're looking at $41.25 a month for the whole crew.
And how many tests do they do per person per month then? Because I found this I found this useful when I was in the corporate world.
Exactly.
But it gets annoying.
Gets really annoying. And I wouldn't use it unless I got an FBI notice like what I got the other day.
Yep.
And then we throw something out about a new cyber attack coming out. But I think a quarterly refresh makes sense to me. It wouldn't be something every week. Quarterly, I think is sufficient. But we take the tests, the first couple of tests, and then we send out a couple of phishing emails.
Yep.
Just to make sure that people understand it and how vulnerable we really are. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward, and it's really standard stuff in business today.
It is. My only critique is I'm not a fan of I'm not a fan of the word password. It should be a passphrase.
Yep, good point.
What they're finding now is your password should not be anything that's discoverable in the English dictionary. So if your password contains a word that's in the dictionary, it's not a secure password.
Yep.
So we really should be discouraging that. They should be more cryptic. And we really should be looking at
Password managers.
Password managers.
Yep.
And that basically allows you to generate you basically have your one password to get into that system. And then all your other passwords would be generated by that password manager.
And it's very cryptic.
It's and I mean, I have TVs off, but I could show it because I have the personal one that I use. But it'll generate like a 16 character and it's just all garble, but you don't have to remember it. It's saved, it's stored. And I think at an admin level, we can program it to roll them every.
And we don't really need to subscribe to a password manager to do this.
Yeah.
Because remember, we've only got 4 or 5 cloud-based applications that we need to worry about.
Right.
So once the password's in, it's in, but a minimum of 12 characters with special symbols. Now, the next thing that we really should be doing is resetting these passwords automatically in 365 every 90 days, where we're forcing everybody to change their password. Yep, and it's a pain in the neck. But once you get it, once you understand how it works, it's quick and easy.
I'd like to do some more research into that because the evidence doesn't support that.
The evidence what?
Does not support changing every 90 days.
I don't know where you read that one, but
Yeah.
I'd like to see it.
At the bank, it's every 60.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say
Yeah.
again? Yeah. But last training I took, every 60 to 90. So, but shoot along what you've found, and then we can come up with a game plan on, what is it that you found? Every 90 days is what they're suggesting?
No, basically the changing your password isn't as important as having a good solid password.
Oh,
well, I mean,
yeah.
I use 22 character passwords for everything.
22 characters?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Right,
that's pretty good.
Right. I mean, I think if we were at 12, I think that 12 to 14 range, the 60 to 90 is recommended. You know, if we were gonna mandate 22 character passwords,
But if you're using a password manager,
it doesn't matter.
Doesn't make any difference. Yep. That's very true. Yeah, very true. So maybe we subscribe to Bitwarden.
I'm just putting some ideas
No,
out there.
no, those are great ideas. Those are great ideas, but the longer, the better. The more cryptic, the better. So, so I just want to tighten things up.
Absolutely. I'm totally behind that.
So, yep. So, yeah, so that's where we're at. So if you, ladies and gentlemen, would take a look at that and pen it up and maybe leave it at the office for me. And then I'll join everything together and we can meet again and formalize it and have people sign off on it. In the interim, I'll get that information from Marcia tomorrow.
That'd be great.
And find the most cost-effective way to go about the cyber training without a subscription. MMA has a lot of good stuff out there. And the federal government has a lot of good stuff out there as well for sites that are available for small municipalities. So there's a lot of information out there. We would just have to manage it ourselves. That's the only thing. I like the idea of somebody being able to take a test and having that date show up in an email to you guys saying so-and-so took a test on this particular date, whereas it would just be on the honor system.
Right.
What's that? With a score. Exactly.
And I do think that testing,
Me
I
too.
didn't mean to suggest that isn't.
Yep, it is. I think it's a very good idea. And that is the standard today. So in most companies, this is how they're doing it. And at the college level, you guys are, I'm sure, doing this, right?
Behind the scenes, behind my scene. I mean, there's some password changing, but yeah, I mean,
How often do you have to change your passwords?
seems like once a year.
Once a year. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm up for that. If it's only once a year, instead of every 60 or 90. So.
Yeah. there must be some other internal stuff that they're doing.
Yeah.
Because there's, I mean, the vulnerabilities from
Crazy.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hundreds of millions.
Yeah. Yeah. It really is. So,
It's, I think cybercrime, if I remember from, and this was like 2 years ago, I was taking my master's classes on it. If it's not already the largest form of theft, it will be this year.
no question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No question. Yeah. So,
No, I think this, getting a policy in place, getting everybody to sign off on it is important. And I'm fully behind that.
great. Great. So do you have any questions for me? Anything?
How soon can we get this all done?
If I can get that back in a reasonable time and get my information from Marcia tomorrow, we could probably roll something out by the end of the week.
So this would be for anybody that has a Mount Vernon ME org email account.
That's right. Yep. And people that are using our municipal hardware, it's going to be a little bit different. We need to talk about people with an ME address taking training versus somebody working in the town office running on our hardware.
No, they need to have the same thing.
Okay.
Everything needs to be applicable to everybody that uses the hardware,
Okay.
I think.
Yep.
I mean,
Say again.
yes, at some time.
Well, yeah. Yep. We've been down that road a few times, huh, Tyler?
Yeah, we've had this conversation a few times.
So changing a domain is not a walk in the park, but it's doable. And if folks think that's the direction that we need to go in,
Well,
make it happen.
I'd like to understand what it's going to cost to do that. Because your time isn't free either.
True. Yep, I can look at that.
I mean, clearly the horses are pushing us in that direction, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I do want to understand what the cost to do.
Yeah, the domain is not expensive to change to a .gov. That's not the issue. It's the migration of the email to a new domain is what it is. But and some DNS record changes for the website. So that's really all it is. It's time. And
Exactly.
when you do something like this, it's got to be an immediate transition over without any mistakes. Or we have down website.
Well, it also, it requires communication because it will mean for those people who are used to sending email to us, for example, they'd need to perhaps have a different email address to send to us.
Very
So-
true. Yep, very true. So, so there's a lot to it, but we can work up to it. I'll get some more information as to what it would take as far as time to make that happen.
Okay.
So, everything else is pretty much status quo. I do want to replace our router in the studio. And I want to put something a little bit higher end in there. We have a donated Ubiquity in there right now from Paul. And it's aging out and I'd like to replace that. So
That makes sense.
yeah, so it's an under $300 security appliance that I'd like to put in for that. Other than that, we're in pretty good shape as far as hardware. Everything is new. So from that standpoint, we're in pretty good shape. So any other?
I mean, this isn't for you, this is just in general. I said it earlier, but the printer for down here will coming in Wednesday, and then I haven't ordered it yet, but we're gonna put a battery backup on the Wi-Fi down here
Good.
because it was
Yeah.
down again when I came in.
Yep.
So
Yep. I think that's a good idea. Where is the modem on the refrigerator?
it's on top of the refrigerator.
Yeah. Be nice to move that somewhere.
There's
other than the
both,
top of the
there's both
refrigerator.
The ONT and
the ONT and the router up there.
Yeah.
They both need to be backed up.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm getting a big enough one that I can go beyond that. And this is on generator, so this is just to be that bridge between when
Right.
the power goes out and when the generator kicks on
Yep.
for,
Is there a guest password?
Yes.
In here?
yes, there is.
Yeah, okay. And it is a true guest password?
It
A
is.
true guest account through the.
No,
router?
it's, we probably need to split that.
It's
Yeah.
not split now?
It's not
I
split
don't
now.
think so.
Oh,
I think this is set up as a residential system.
okay. That's an easy split.
Yeah.
Town office is split.
Yeah.
But even that, we should maybe at some point consider that we don't have an open guest account. Yeah. But
I think I mean, this would be the only reason we'd have it open here is for vendors, so we don't have to, or if there's events down here, we don't have to.
yeah. We might want to consider a second router just with a guest account on it.
Yep.
Just on a different subnet completely.
Yep.
With a guest account, so it's not tied into anything municipally.
So the router that we have doesn't support guest network.
I'd have to look at the innards of it, but I think on the menu, if you go to, the IP. If you want
Give
to
me a
take a look
second,
at
I'll
it, if
do
you've
it
got
right
it, there's you could do it right now if it's got that option.
I'm going to just interrupt with something else. So I'm wondering about getting a hold of Lee or Kurt before it gets too late, because it sounds like it was happening like tomorrow. So would somebody, I mean, I'd be happy to call, but Bob, who, somebody should call Lee or Kurt, it seems to me. You want me to do that?
Sure.
All right, I'll just go outside.
I assume you're done with,
I think so.
but okay.
Unless you have anything else to
Yeah, I think,
add,
yeah, I think I've got it.
I think we'll move into executive session.
I move to enter executive session to discuss person.
Karen Maris, 1065 Pond Road. No, my question was like, and you nod your head or whatever, your computers that are on now have town stuff on it, and if we're on the guest Wi-Fi, so it seems like that would be prudent to do the separate
Yeah.
guest sooner than later.
I'm trying to backdoor my way into the router right now.
Into what? I'm sorry?
Backdoor my way into the router right now.
Okay, so that was just my thought as you were saying that, and you're saying, oh, just the general public and the vendors come in, but you guys are doing business right
Yeah,
now.
no, it may it'll be done sooner rather than later. I'm trying to get into it now.
One question too.
Yeah.
Just down Belgrade Road. Did I remember that those taxpayers that got reevaluated last summer or
A few months ago,
a
wasn't
few
it?
months ago
Yeah, I remember that.
are going to have both increases?
I don't know the answer to that. Whether people who have had their taxes reviewed recently will have the factoring applied on top of that.
We were discussing this in the fall. I remember people came in, they had a reevaluation.
I don't.
Went through everything.
But what, yeah, let's do that, because what you don't want to, I mean,
You don't want.
if they were reevaluated in the context of where we are today as a town, that's one thing. But if they brought it up to the state valuations, then that's a different story.
Yeah, I probably didn't bring it up to state, but there was a reeval. They called it the quarterly, quarter.
Like on your mother's,
No, mom's was not done.
no,
Ours was.
like yours.
So I asked about 8 Belgrade. And he said, no, not on the list.
We should make an appointment with them. He'll be there a week from tomorrow.
Making appointments with that man is not easy.
It's very easy. Go in tomorrow and ask Abigail or his sheet. It's in his little box. And you just write your name on what time is available. I wrote mine on 11:30. So.
Thank you.
I move to go into executive session pursuant to one MSRA section 405, subsection B, subsection 6. Discuss personnel matters.
And a vote? Dan voted, so it's 5-0.
Have a good night, Remy.
Yeah.